I'm Chef Andy.
I'm Chef Nate.
I've worked here at Normandy Farm since 2005.
I'm the chef cuisine here at Farmer's Daughter Restaurant. I've been here for 13 years.
I started out at the country club, the Bluebell Country Club, which we also own across the street, and spent some years there. And then was brought over here to kind of help when we started expanding things over here and getting busier over here. Started off early in my life cooking at home. My parents loved to cook, loved the holidays. They always made the best of everything for us, even though we didn't have everything. We made the best of it, and I think that's where my passion really kind of started.
A very similar backstory to Chef Andy, humble beginnings, cooking in the kitchen with my mom when I was really young, had 2 older brothers. Wasn't necessarily allowed to hang out with them all the time, but it was fun. I learned a lot of cooking and stuff from my mom tips. She's a huge baker. My dad is first generation born here. My grandfather's from Cuba. So I got a lot of Spanish background heritage coming my way.
We sit on a farm. We had the hotel built. It was originally the wedding venue and the banquet venue. And then we had the hotel built. And we had a small restaurant, small service bar in the hotel for the different things we had going on the property. But we wanted to kind of branch out a little bit, make it a little bit more accessible, more geared towards the farm, chic look, farm, ambiance. So we, there were several years where we were operating under a different name, and we decided to kind of switch that direction and kind of really commit to the farm atmosphere.
Like all the great things, it takes countless hours and trial and error and input from all sorts of people. When we get our flavor profiles and we start to build our menus and we write recipes, we take inspiration from so many different factors. We have employees from all over the world that work in this building. We take the opinions of our front of house managers, our owners, our marketing staff, our sales department. We take everybody's input, and then we figure out what works for us. It's just the way that it's supposed to be, whereas when you get that mass-produced stuff that's bought at like a cheaper price point just to accommodate a lot of people, you're not necessarily going to get that same quality that somebody took months or years to improve and perfect their technique to get you that produce or that vegetables or those beefs or those chickens.
That's a lot of relationships. We're fortunate enough that we have an actual purchasing department. So the chefs do get involved with the purveyors with some of the stuff. Of course, we have relationships with reps from those companies. A lot of them, we talk directly to the owners of the companies, actually, for some of them. So, but there's long-standing relationships that we have with our purveyors. Ashley from Ashley Foods. We've been with her since I started here almost 20 years ago. Same thing with Farm Art. We've had these relationships, and there's a direct line of communication between our purchasing manager and our purchasing agents and our purveyors to make sure that we have consistently quality product that's being given to us, because at the end of the day, the more consistent you are, the better it is. The more people are going to come back. You don't want somebody to have dinner here one time, come back the next time and have a bad experience. So.
And those purveyors basically all operate as almost like a farmers union. So when you're getting those vegetables, you might not necessarily get it from the same farm every single time, but you're getting it from almost a co-op or a collective of anywhere from 50 to 100,000 different farmers. It could be anywhere from 5 miles to 100 miles away, but these are all locally sourced. I mean, with transportation, what it is today, local is a little bit more of a broad term. It's gotten, because the world's a huge place, so now you can get avocados from Haiti, and you can get, granted, like, but you can't grow avocados locally, and if you do, you're getting them from California. So like, it's as local as it can possibly be, and our farmers unions, the ones that we shop with, actually get them from as local as possible for us. So they source all sorts of the best produce, vegetables, and proteins that we can find. It's amazing.
First of all, when you create a menu, you want to be able to create the menu based off of using as much as you can of what you have. So you break everything down, and then you decide according. And then we don't just have our restaurant menu; we have our conference center menus. We have, of course, our wedding menus and our private event menus. We have a lot of menus. So we're able to utilize things differently according to that. And yeah, I mean, we'll take short ribs from and braise them for the events, for the weddings, and then for the as a matter of fact, we use those in the restaurant too.
Yeah.
We've always had them on the menu in the restaurant, the beef short rib. And then we take the trim from that, and we braise that as well, and we shred that or pull it, and we make spring rolls out of that for appetizers. Of course, the last case scenario, the last thing you'll do with it, the very end of that line is make the stock. Use whatever you have that's remaining that's not edible, so to speak. We make stock with that.
Same thing with chickens. Take a whole chicken, you break it down, you get the breast, the wing, the thigh, the leg meat, the back and the necks and all that stuff. That's all for chicken stock. Nothing really goes to waste. It's all deep, rich flavors that can just be enhanced with slow cook times. But it also doesn't just go to the vegetables and stuff. It also is in part of like our pastry department. They make wedding cakes. And when they trim and cut down the cakes to build somebody's wedding cake, they'll end up with extra pieces of cake on the side. They have a recipe to turn that into cake pops. So they'll use the trim from a cake and make another delicious dessert, so none of that cake goes in the trash. We do the thing with the salmon. We get whole sides of salmon. We butcher down the salmon, scales off. We'll cut the bellies off. We use the bellies for our skewers. We use them to make salmon sliders. We use them to make tacos in the restaurant. And then the large 6 to 7, 8 ounce portions, depending on the party, are all for the entree sizes. So at that point, the only thing that's left sometimes is about 2 inches of skin off the piece of salmon. So we really take times. And even that, if we're doing some kind of soup or some kind of stock, we'll roast them, store them, and then make the stock for seafood-based soup. So even though it seems like it's trash at the end, it gets used a third time, and it's good. It makes very rich flavors.
Early in my career, I worked at a couple places where they use chicken base, the paste. And it really, the difference in the quality, the flavor, is so much different when you're the color. Yeah, I mean, it's unreal. Yeah. There's preservatives and everything else in that stuff, and there's a lot of places that do use that. When we have the ability here, thank God, with all of our equipment, that we're able to make big batches of stock using bones and carcasses, the chicken carcasses and things of that nature to make the best quality of stuff we can.
Even some of the stuff, a lot of our employees have like chickens and stuff at their house. So the ends of like a romaine lettuce will get chopped up, and what normally you're not going to put any of that in stock. Sometimes we'll give those to employees that have chickens. They'll take home and feed their animals. So literally, like, nothing goes to waste. It's amazing.
I'll buy whole chickens at home, and I literally do the same thing at home. I want to, I guess, things are, you kind of are what you do all the time. So I guess doing it all the time here, I'm not going to get chicken base at home and make chicken soup at home.
Yeah, no.
I'm going to do it the right way at home too. So, I mean, we've been doing this long enough that we've seen the change. A lot of it, is probably due to people eating processed food, people eating, it's a busy life. Everybody lives now. So it's hard to take the time to make quality food. But it's well worth it. Like I said, I do it at home myself, and with the allergies for the events now, it's when you're in control of stuff from the beginning, as we are where we don't buy pre-made food and pre-packaged food, things like that. It's a lot easier to be confident in what you're serving somebody when they have an allergy. And you're not just talking about 15 different people that have one allergy each.
Yeah.
You might have 15 different people that have allergies, and they might have 3 or 4 allergies each. And we do take that seriously. We do serve safe classes where we focus in on that. We had 30 people about a year ago that got certified, and we go over all those different things in that class. But yeah, it's a lot easier because you can look at the ingredients on the box, but if you go somewhere and you have a severe allergy, you're going to feel more comfortable with somebody who's handling the food basically from beginning to end. It's not being processed in any other facility, so you can be truly confident in that for sure.
Yeah, as far as like modern cooking initiatives for us, we implement some of the new techniques like with the sous vide bags and infusing lots of deep rich flavors in chickens, but like some people will buy that stuff already, and we go through the trouble of breaking down the chickens, seasoning chickens, marinating them, aging them for a day, put them in the bags with the herbs, the duck fat, all of them high aromatics. Then we seal them and cook them in water baths so that nothing dries out. Like, we just want to take those extra steps to really make sure you're getting the best product. And it's easy to control allergies, like he said too. So if you have somebody that can't have time on a chicken, you can create that one sous vide bag that's completely airtight without the time, and they go through the same process of the chicken for everything else.
My favorite thing to do is grill. So anything, steaks, fish, seafood, grilled shrimp, grilled lobster tails. Yeah,
It's making my mouth water.
yeah. That's my alley. So, I guess ironically, my favorite time of the year is the fall. I do love the fall. It's just it's a cozy kind of thing, and I love a lot of the flavor profiles of the fall. But if I had to choose something to cook or a style of cooking, I like the grill.
I'm the vice versa. I'm the braiser. I love low and slow, like lamb shanks. Our short ribs cook for 12 hours in the oven. Literally, you cut them with a spoon. Our lamb shanks fall right off the bone. We've taken so much time to perfect those recipes. It's like we have a menu in here for each season. So we basically have the outdoor terrace patio for the summer. We host all sorts of barbecue garden events, summer series they call them. We got a pig roast, a clam bake, crab fest. We got the cigar dinners. We do wine dinners outside. Like, those are our summer events. And then during the fall, we still continue with another one of those wine dinners. We just did Glamour in the Garden, which is huge inside, basically like, I don't know, do they still call it like a white party? They still call it that? Yeah. So, but that was huge. We have entertainers that come in, live bands, food's cooking, smokers are in full effect. Like, to me, that's like the best, is just, you can smell the love in the food from a smoker and from a grill. But at the same time, when you open that crock pot, like, equally as good.
Yeah, it's they both have their positives. I think, and for us too, it's cool because our inside of our restaurant is more geared towards the fall and the winter. We have fireplaces, we have stained wood, and Chef Nate just told me a couple minutes ago or a little while ago about how some of that wood that's in there was taken from our barn when it was originally renovated. So they repurposed that wood to have that in there. So that kind of lends itself towards the fall and winter kind of style. But then we have an absolutely beautiful terrace and beautiful landscaping.
Reclaim
flowers.
hardwood tables.
Oh yeah, I mean it's
barn pillars.
It's really amazing.
The name's The Farmer's Daughter, right? And this was a replica.
Well, what about Normandy Farm? That's what you told me earlier.
Yeah, this is a replica of a dairy farm from Normandy Farms, Normandy, France. So it's almost an exact properly replica to a farm that's in France. It was originally a dairy farm, family operated and owned, and it just seems like with our brand, the way we were going to the farm to table and the way it was happening, it just seemed like it was the perfect fit.
we've done a lot of work here, and we're proud of what we've done.
Expansion is never out of the question,
We always like a challenge.
but it would be expansion on our terms. We wouldn't expand just to expand our brand or our label. We would have to make sure that it was the right fit for us, that we can maintain our level of excellence. We could maintain the standards and the ethics that we put into place as chefs with our staff and our front of house staff and our management properties. So it's never out of the question. It takes a village. And for us, we even joke to ourselves a lot of times that we're like the League of Nations here, that we have like over 40 different countries of employees that work in this building from everywhere, from Asia to Africa, South America,
Mars.
United States,
He's from Mars.
outer space. Yeah, sure. I mean, we draw inspiration from all of that. And then they have cultures that they bring with them that there's times that we haven't even seen it. So somebody brings in a dish. You have people that bring in dishes all the time and they're like, I made this last night. I want you to try it. And it's something that's completely outlandish to us, but you take one bite and you just fall in love. So drawing inspiration from that and then taking some of those flavor combos and putting them into our food. We've had dishes that we've named after chefs that have put food on the menu. We have our owner's mother is her crab cake recipe. It's Gert's crab cakes. We have an homage to our dearly departed owner's father, as his favorite salad is the Bud's Gem salad.
It does take a village. It takes a lot of work. We put a lot of time and effort, a lot of pride into what we've created, what we've grown here. But it's also a commitment from top to bottom. It's from ownership. It's from the big bosses. They have to believe in us and motivate us, and they've done that. And we've both been here for a long time and don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. And the only way that can happen, and you can not only have it with people like us in the management level, but also to our employees, that we like to have a good work environment, create a good work environment so that we don't have turnover. We have a consistent staff that we can count on. We don't lose good people. We have standards that we want to uphold. So the more people you have that have been here for a long time, the more consistent things are going to be. You know how happy people are in the food. You can taste it in the food. And I literally had a customer tell me that one time.
Yeah.
And it's so true. It really is true. So if you have a miserable environment, it's going to come out in the food. If you have a good environment, it's going to come out in the food. You do feel at home here. If you're going through something personal in your life, everybody seems to be going through it with you. And that can be two ways. You could feel like it's overbearing, or you could enjoy it, but it's never been for me in all these years to the point where it's like overbearing. As far as Bud, our owner, coming to tastings when we do tastings for the menu. If he has criticism, it's constructive. And that's from everyone. And I think that's what makes it easiest for us to involve everybody so much too in the creation of really everything, is that we all have a good relationship with each other, and
that's what makes
respect each other.
That's what makes it feel like such a family environment.
Yeah.
Is that when you come to work, everybody cares. Everybody knows each other's names. People go to different departments. The first thing they do is walk around and say hello to everybody. Instead of just coming in and just going right to your grind on the day, they'll go downstairs, they'll go upstairs, they'll go into pastry, they'll go meet the sales team. It's mutual respect. And you get that from the top all the way to the bottom. It's amazing. They'll do things like Thanksgiving, bring coffee and donuts for the entire staff. It's like an appreciation gesture. It just makes them know like you're not unnoticed, and that we see everything you do, we know who you are, and we thank you for everything.
As big as we are as a company, we're not a number. None of us feel like numbers. We all have names, we all have personalities, and ownership makes sure that they make that happen.
But we're open Monday through Sunday. right? Lunch, dinner, farm bites for the menus in between lunch and dinner service. They do happy hour. They do Sunday. We do Sunday, not they. We do happy hour, Sunday brunch, lunch, dinner, farm bites, all of it. It's amazing. It's like
Yeah,
a lot of different
we're a
menus, a lot
hotel,
of
so we're
different
open. We're open year round.
all the time. Room service.
Yeah, so yeah, we're definitely open to the public, and if anybody wants a juggling show while they're having dinner, I could probably do that.
Yeah.
I could do some juggling, kind of
Yeah.
spruce it up a little bit.
Sunday brunch. That's the real show. Come to the Farmer's Daughter, because when you're here, you're
Farmly.
You're tuned into the Down Money Show. When you're talking real estate, you're talking money down, you're talking down money.